And this goes out to, Mason, Sal. They're saying, the FSC doesn't care about winning. Danny, he's a free bye week. Let's see if you guys think I care about winning when you're going up against Puka Nacua. You guys are mentioning my team not being at full capacity. The last time I checked, the Rams are going to be playing in Week 10 when I play you, Sal. The Rams are going to be playing in Week 11 when I play you, Mason. We'll see what my lineup looks like by then.
I think Danny has completely resorted to coping. I think it's setting in that he absolutely fumbled a deal, that he got caught up with the googly eyes of what Puka Nacua was before injury, and absolutely gave away a top 12 player, Drake London, rest of season, and a top 3 quarterback to get back a guy that maybe plays for him in 3 weeks. But here's the thing. He can't compete on the field right now. His team looks pretty buns, probably going to miss the playoffs, so he has to resort to the smack talk. And I love the smack talk. That's what we're here for. That's what makes this all fun fantasy football. But you got to come with the truth. You got to come with the stone cold facts for a few reasons. First, Danny's trying to tell me that his player, Puka Nacua, that he just acquired, is the highest scoring player in fantasy football points per game. Not the case. Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, both who resort on my team, no matter the format that you look at, have scored more points per game than Puka Nacua. So let's just put that there, right? Number 2. Danny faces me in week 10. Now, I've already looked ahead and saw that as of right now, it is the highest percentage chance to win that week, me versus Danny. It makes sense. I have a good team that scored a lot of points. Danny does not have a good team that scored very few points. But more importantly, Danny said that his team's going to be at full strength in week 10. The Dallas Cowboys are on a bye in week 10, which means CeeDee Lamb is going to get 0 points in week 10. Does that sound like full strength? Now, these are all reasons why I think Danny's coping. He's scrambling. He's not fact-checking himself. He's slipping a little bit in the smack talk range. I completely get that. But here's another reason why I think he's just a little bit panicking right now. Let me tell you something. I wake up this morning from a message in Discord from Danny Ladd. And the message is simple. Hey, do you have any interest in Bam Knight? I just said, no, sir. Simple conversation. He's gauging the interest on a player. That's fine. He said, I saw you could use some running back depth, so I figured. Again, my running backs are Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. Okay, on to the next one. I said, I give you $2 to $4 fab. That's about it. He said, fair enough. Think I'll hold on to the homie. Appreciate it. Then he just goes on to a 6-7 message. I won't call it a rant, but I think he's just coping and he has to talk to somebody. I think he wanted somebody to wake up. He knows I get up early and he needed to talk to somebody at 6:44 in the morning saying, not sure if you saw my trade yet, but man, I'm truthful when I say I had no intention to trade London. I didn't ask. He then says, but when Zach messaged me asking if I wanted the best player in fantasy, I had to listen. And then Danny goes, oh, I just saw your clip. Haha, seems like you're on Mason's side. So he saw the clip that you might have already seen by now of me basically saying that I think Danny ended his season completely. And I was being honest there, and I think fair. He said, honestly, I'm just confident Caleb supplements my quarterback and Puka's going to be out most 1 games based on the reports, but fair play. I think this is all cope. I think we're at the point where we might be needing to have an intervention with Danny. Last year, he had a bad medical staff. And this year, I think really what this trade is telling us is that he's setting himself up for an excuse.
Sal. So I guess context just isn't your strong suit, isn't your forte, because you keep saying, Danny, he must have a terrible team, 11th point score. It's like I didn't start half of a lineup in week 5. On top of that, you keep saying, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, outscoring Puka Nacua on the air. I mean, obviously, I'm not referencing the game that Puka Nacua left. So if you're going to come at me in clips, at least get your facts straight.
All right, I'm about to hop on a call with Nathan, and we have something really exciting that we're about to cook up here. A lot more exciting than his Wandale trade. All righty, Nathan at 2-4 in some dire straits for some wide receiver help. We've been kind of going back and forth in the DMs all week about a potential Xavier Worthy for Marvin Harrison Jr. swap. I wanted to push for Judkins, but it sounds like you want to hold pat on him.
507.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We got to keep the Judkins meme alive. How do we get this thing done? Because I have Harrison and Worthy pretty closely ranked, but I do prefer Worthy at the moment.
Yeah, so I know why you want Judkins, and I don't blame you. You're kind of in the same rut as I am, but even worse because you've got one guy. Yeah, I mean, you have Bijan, which is great, but after that, you don't really have anybody. You've got Pacheco and then Kimani Vidal, which is kind of a short-term rental. What I could do instead of giving up Judkins, because I honestly, I just don't really want to move off of him right now. What I do have is, I do have streamable depth that could offer some long-term upside if moves are made. For example, I've been holding on to Kendry Miller, and I've drawn a ton of interest from him from a bunch of guys in the flock league. I could include him. That's an option on top of Marv to get Worthy, if that's like the type of depth option that you'd be looking for, assuming you want a running back.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only 3 running backs on my roster are Vidal, Pacheco, and Bijan. I think Miller makes sense as a bridge the tier gap because he would be my 4th running back. Like you said, kind of good, at least handcuff upside at the very least right now for Alvin Kamara, who's 30 years old. Here's my gal brain on all of this. I play Mason in week 10. Worthy's bye is in week 10. Marvin's bye is in week 8. I play the Devs in week 8. JSN and Gibbs are on bye for the Devs. They're 2 single best players. So if I'm losing Harrison in week 8 as opposed to Worthy in week 10, it actually does really bode well for me. So to be honest with you, I think Kendre's enough of a sweetener because like the other thing that kind of plays in my favor here is that if Harrison doesn't play, my lineup is set. I think he may have a deal here. I think I kind of like the Kendre Miller stash. And another part of why I want to make this deal too is more so than other people, I seem to be semi-concerned about Worthy's health. But
yeah, it's a number 1 for a number 2 as well. I got to go with the immediate production, take the risk of Worthy going down long term.
But you get to watch Patrick Mahomes every Sunday.
I get to watch Mahomes instead of Kyler. Literally,
so.
golly. But Marv is literally so good. So I'm gonna miss him. But do we have a deal? Marvin Kendre for Xavier Worthy.
So we got another trade down in the Flock League, and myself made a deal. And just a quick fun fact for those of you guys in the audience, 14 trades have gone down in this league, 12 that are actually relevant, like fab kind of trades. 10 of them have been myself or my co-host Danny. There's a reason our last name is Exchange. Now, I made this deal for a number of reasons. There's the raw factor of Marvin Harrison, Xavier Worthy are pretty comparable for me. Plus, I got Kendre Miller as a sweetener. I only have 3 running backs on my roster right now. So there's that. But game theory and game strategy wise, here's why I made the deal. I already had my lineup set. I took Xavier Worthy out of it. I can carry an extra roster player going into this week against Sammy. But if Marvin is out this week, which is part of why I made the deal and part of why Nathan made the deal is because he needs immediate production, then I actually can hold an extra roster player going into next week. Second of all, I play the Devs next week. The Devs will not have JSN or Jahmyr Gibbs, who are their 2 best players, bar none. So I moved my bye week from week 10, when Xavier Worthy has his bye, when I play Mason, which could be an important matchup, playoff seeding wise and whatnot, to week 8. There was a number of different reasons why I made this trade, but happy to have Marvin Harrison on the team. We'll see how this one plays out.
All right, so honestly, the thought process with the Marvin Worthy trade was pretty simple, honestly. Depth at this point doesn't mean anything for my team. I'm already deprived of depth quite a bit with my injuries. I have no Marvin Harrison for 2 weeks. I understand how hilarious it would be if Marv was like, oh, he cleared concussion protocol and he's good to go this Sunday. That honestly would be really brutal. But even then, I would miss him the next week with the bye, and I need to stack up a couple of wins, try to have any chance of getting back to 500, to have any sort of chance at the end of the year. Let me be totally honest with you. After 6 weeks of painfully watching the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett, I legitimately could not handle one more second of watching Kyler Murray refuse to throw the ball to Marvin Harrison on that team.
All right. Now I see another trade that's gone down in the league. It's kind of funny because once one trade happens, this happened last year as well. Once trades just start happening, it starts getting everybody's energy flowing. You get a little bit of FOMO. Why didn't I get a trade done? Why don't I have new players on my team? It's like a phenomenon that if you don't play fantasy football and trade and you never have before, you won't understand. But that's happening right now. But it looks like it's Marvin Harrison and Kendre Miller for Xavier Worthy. I mean, I don't think this it's swapping a position. I mean, if I'm choosing a side in this, I'll take Bush's side. I think I would rather have Marvin Harrison over Worthy rest of season just straight up. In general, you're kind of just swapping 5th round value type wide receivers, maybe 4th round value wide receivers, and doing a little bit of a running back throw in. It's fine. It's a fair deal. I'll take the Harrison side.
So Marvin Harrison Jr. and Xavier Worthy were traded. I am completely indifferent on this trade, as I'm sure the majority of the chat are going to be. I'm not sure it really makes a difference or is going to matter. So I thought a better use of my time would be to tell you guys a couple facts about Bears. First fact, Bears can run up to 40 miles per hour, okay? Fast enough to catch a horse. If you think about that for reference, Usain Bolt can run up to 27 miles per hour. If you think about that in a different reference, Devon Achane maxes out about 23 miles per hour. So if a live bear was on the field, he could catch Devon Achane and who knows what happens after that. Fact number 2, a bear's heartbeat is typically 40 beats per minute, but when they're hibernating, it's actually 8. Now, for all of our friends living in North America, the bear that you are most likely to see in your lifetime is a black bear. Now, fact number 2 on top of that fact is not all black bears are actually black. So let's stop stereotyping. They actually come in all different types of colors, from cinnamon to reddish brown to even white. Even white bears can be black bears. So I hope this was helpful for you today and you learned something. Stay safe with both yourself and your families.
Another trade just went down in the Flock League, and this time my channel partner is involved. And of course, an FSE. You cannot have a trade without one of the FSE guys in it. It's just they literally have ADHD, have to trade all the time. Nathan trades away Marvin Harrison Jr. He's obviously going to miss this week. Nathan needs wins, and so you've got a guy that's injured and kind of low floor and risky to own rest of the season because of his quarterback situation, his injuries. So let's trade him and Kendre Miller, and let's go get a wide receiver who is also injured and also has a torn labrum and also has a pretty extensive history of injuries and also has a low floor. That seems like it's going to help you win now, Nate. You do you, Nate. I mean, you got to avoid the Denny's like the plague. So, on the other hand, let's talk about this. You got Bush in a video saying, oh, actually, Avery trades for Rashee Rice, but I like this side for Nick because I actually don't think Rashee Rice is going to be that good. He's probably going to be a wide receiver too, and I think Xavier Worthy's actually good, which was a whole lot. He was literally chugging copium, but then he trades Xavier Worthy off his team, and what does that narrative do? Completely changes. Oh, I'm actually a little scared of Rashee Rice. Oh, I'm scared, please. Oh no. Seriously, Corey? What happened to Rashee Rice not being a factor there?
So Avery doesn't like my trade. You know what? That's totally fine because Avery. Here's the thing that I don't think you understand. You can't relate to Xavier Worthy like I can. Okay, on like a personal level, Xavier Worthy weighing $165, and me being like 5'9", $150. I can relate to Xavier Worthy more than you literally ever could. The fact that we have the same body type, and he's going out there putting his life on the line against like 350 pounds, 6'7" linemen. I know how it feels.
So here's a little inside baseball for you. Nathan offers me a deal through messages. I accept, right? I say, yeah, I'll do it. I then send said deal through the app. He does not accept. The next day goes by. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I told him I'd do the deal he offered me through direct messages. And then I get a message. I get a little alert saying, oh, Nathan made a trade that was much worse than what you were offering him. So Nathan, just when I thought I couldn't root against you anymore. If Domain has 0 haters, that means I have died, because I will be a Domain hater for the rest of my life. To just think, you go through and you trade for Xavier Worthy. The dude he's held together by bubblegum and duct tape. What the hell are we doing trading for Xavier Worthy? Every single week Bush has offered me to try to trade this dude. I'm sitting here going like, I don't know. He has one shoulder, he has one ankle. Would there be anybody dumb enough to trade for Worthy? Well, we found someone. What is nice about this is you go over and you look at the Fantasy Stock Exchange teams now. Danny and Bush both collectively don't understand that regular season games matter. Like, Bush gets a 500 record and all of a sudden he loses his mind and he thinks, oh, okay, oh my God, I'm 500. Oh my, I've never been this good before. It's week 7 in the season and I'm 3-3. Oh, I gotta make a move. I have a chance for the playoffs. And then, of course, he goes through and he makes a trade so Isaiah Pacheco can get back into his starting lineup and he can have a losing record yet again. So,
oh my God, Mason, if you just did a little shred of research before you opened your mouth, you'd understand why I made the trade. I literally listed it already. I have a better chance of beating your ass because I traded for Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm cool. Nathan wins games. He's in the toilet bowl. Like, he was getting flushed down the toilet. I don't even know where I would be, right? I'm like on the King's Castle. I'm fighting for the crown over here. Nathan's in the offshoot bathroom, like getting swirlies in that toilet. So like, cool, Nathan can come up for air for a bit. It's not going to impact me whatsoever.